He's Paul Finebaum, the host of the Paul Finebaum Radio Network, ESPN college football analyst, and he has a new book, My Conference Can Beat Your Conference, Why the SEC Rules College Football, and it's now on sale. Paul, are you thumbing your nose at the rest of college football here?
Without a doubt, Dan. I heard you say earlier, will the rest secede?
Yeah.
I thought they already had.
Sort of. Who's the second best conference after the SEC?
I'll whisper this, and I think they're gaining. I think the Pac-12. I'm just really impressed. My next book is about the Pac-12 because they have so many contenders with Stanford and Oregon, UCLA, and SC. But I don't want to waste valuable huckstering time on the Pac-12. Well, HarperCollins will hit the gong button on me.
But if you look at Urban Meyer going to the Big Ten, and I said he's going to try to bring the SEC to the Big Ten by going to Ohio State, can you bring the SEC to the Pac-12? Is it important to do that, or can you play a different style to combat the SEC?
It's a long bus ride, but I think the style will work. I was out there a couple of times last year, and again, I can't believe I'm sitting here promoting the Pac-12, but I am very impressed, Dan. The problem is they seem to be cannibalizing each other, and Stanford is the biggest culprit because they have cost Oregon a couple of major shots at the national championship.
But Stanford does play a different style of football than Oregon.
Well,
does.
they look like Alabama.
Yes, yeah, and
except they have better field goal coverage.
When it comes to a sense of humor, though, does the SEC have a sense of humor?
No, absolutely not. And I jokingly said after the Florida State Auburn game that you can't really count that as a loss for the SEC because FSU is essentially an SEC team with a former Saban disciple and an Alabama quarterback. That didn't really resonate very well. But I think SEC fans don't like to acknowledge anyone else. Interestingly, the conference they hate the most is the Big Ten, and I'm not really sure why because the Big Ten hardly exists any longer outside of Urban and Michigan State, Wisconsin to a lesser degree. But I will say, back to what you asked a minute ago, Urban has a chance. He blew that game last year against Michigan State, but he is, I've always said he's the best coach in the country outside of Nick Saban's neighborhood.
He's Paul Finebaum. The book is My Conference Can Beat Your Conference, Why the SEC Rules College Football, now on sale. Give me this scenario with college football that is going to change the landscape of college football. Aside from this 14 playoff, what is next that changes everything?
Hopefully an 18 playoff. It took Alabama and LSU playing a stinker of a game 2.5 years ago, Dan, for the same people who said going into the stadium that night that there would never be a +1 or a 14 playoff. Now they're saying we're in this for 12 years. But I do think, and I'll try not to over-promote a product, which is the 14 playoff, but I think it will elevate the game. It won't quite get to the NFL, but I think it will elevate it to a place it has never been. And I think once the public sees it, and I think once the networks see it, well, the network ESPN, I'm hoping, and I think ultimately it will happen, that they'll expand it even more because it really will be exciting. College football has missed an opportunity for way too long.
Can you step back and look at ESPN's role and say, are they good for college football? Are they bad for college football? Are they both?
Well, considering it took 6 months between my bosses and yours to negotiate this interview, I'll walk carefully on this question. I think ESPN is good, and the reason why is they have put so many. And by the way, Fox is out there now. CBS has played a key role. I mean, I'm not going to be crazy here, but I think by putting so many games on, by putting so many games in prime time, everyone has gotten richer, and I think the sport is better. And by the way, I know you have not heard this yet because this isn't the first time that anyone has promoted it, but actually tomorrow night there's another conference that has a network, the SEC network. I hope I'm not breaking any news here on the Dan Patrick Show.
Oh, there's an SEC network.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did it just get approved? I didn't know that.
I thought it was a disaster movie. Every time I looked up on the screen on ESPN, it said 8/14/14.
I know. It did look like one of those movie trailers. You know, Mr. November comes out 8/14.
It is going to be a movie trailer. It's going to be the Tim Tebow show.
Oh my God. Why do we still want Tim Tebow to succeed as a football player?
I don't know. And Dan, I've spent a lot of time with Tim lately. We're going to be part of the same traveling band, and I think part of it is that he continues to want to play. I've been with him a couple of times.
But why does he think he's not playing?
Now that's difficult to answer. I think he really feels, and I don't want to speak for him, but I'll give you an impression of someone who has become friendly with him, that he can play, and if it hadn't been for all the noise and the chatter around him, he would be playing. And perhaps there's some truth to that. You're much closer to the NFL than I would ever hope to be. So I mean, you know these people, and I've spoken to people, and I thought he would make the Patriots a year ago. I was shocked when he didn't make that team.
But we want him to succeed, and it feels like people want Johnny Manziel to fail.
Well, I think Johnny Manziel is a different version of Tebow. He's Tebow with an attitude, but essentially, you're right. I think people wanted him to fail in college, and he succeeded beyond anyone's wildest dreams. And I don't mean to be critical of Johnny. I'm a fan, but if you look at the two, Tebow was part of 2 national championships and nearly a third. Johnny Manziel, I'll say this carefully. He beat Alabama in a major upset. He beat Oklahoma in a bowl game, and he beat Duke, other than setting 1 million records and giving record TV ratings to everyone who broadcast his game. A&M did not win a whole lot.
The fascination here is, and let's cut through it, is Johnny Manziel's white, but playing in a way that we haven't seen white quarterbacks play. Tebow played in a different way, but that's almost like, harken back to the 1940s or something. But is race play a role in Manziel?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I think he has a different style, and I joked about his friendship with Drake a year ago until Drake smacked me down on SportsCenter one day, and I said, okay, I'm waving the white flag.
You could take Drake. Come on.
What's that?
You could take Drake.
But I don't really think. I don't think race plays a big role in Manziel. I just think Manziel. I think socioeconomics do, because he was the son of fairly wealthy people, and we hadn't seen that before. Tebow was born in the Philippines. His family were missionaries. Manziel's father strutted around. He was in the oil business, and I think a lot of people didn't like him as a result.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Your 4-team playoff will consist of who?
This is boring, but I'm going chalk with the University of Jameis Winston, Alabama, Oregon, and Bob Stoops' team, Oklahoma. I would love Stoops to get in there, because we haven't really heard much from him lately, have we?
No, we haven't. Although, they had a good bowl game. But who gets the 5th spot?
They did.
Yeah.
They really did.
Yeah. Who gets
Nick Saban called that a consolation game.
I know. I thought it was great. But I love when Spurrier tweaks Saban. Then that's what's fun here. But give me the 5th team.
I would say Stanford. I still think Stanford is built to be very good in college football. I think Oregon will cancel them out, though.
All right, final question. Heisman winner, will it be the favorites, or will it be somebody off the board?
This will be the first time in about 6 or 7 years we actually have heard of the Heisman winner before the season. I think it's going to be Marcus Mariota.
Good luck with the book, and we'll talk to you in 6 more months there, Paul.
At least. Dan, maybe. Great.
Right.
I'm going to record this and play it every day, because I probably won't be on for a very long time.
Thank you, Paul. He's
Paul
Finebaum. My conference can beat your conference. Why the SEC rules college football.